Welcome to the channel, everybody, and something that I want to touch base on. Loser, loser, loser. You hear me say it a lot in eFootball and UFL, and we'll talk about eFootball in particular, but it's the same thing with UFL. Why do I say loser? Why not just lower level player, which is fine. Lower level player is fine. If you are a player that's just not that good at the game, but you're trying to get better, or you just like playing at the level you're at, so be it. But where the loser comes in is that there's players that take their time to play a football simulator that do anything but play football, and year after year, game after game, they get whooped, and they never try to get better. Instead, they sit wherever they're playing and waste their time going for any exploit, if it's UFL or any type of exploit hidden as a tactic in eFootball, such as triangle, 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 pressure, 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 and that's why they are a loser, right? If they were just a lower level player, a bad player, and they couldn't get better, or they didn't care, they were fine with being where they're at, and they were just enjoying whatever level of football they played, so be it. But these players are coming in, maybe the first minute or two, they see how you are, they see that you're just dominating, and instead of going, okay, this is where I can really try to improve, I can try to work on my passing and moving and defense, and no, they go for any and every way to try to not play football, which in eFootball you can, because Konami caters to these losers, because these losers buy all these players simply to get their butts kicked playing football, only to stay in the games because of the nonsense that Konami puts in to help them out. Not to mention, everybody who says this is scripted and it helps out these lower loser players, right? By losers, I'm talking about, again, the players that don't try to get better at all. They don't try to play football. They're just triangle, triangle, triangle. And then you end up getting them to a point where you can put away the game and nonsense happens, right? Which I'm about to show you. Situations like this, right? Proper build-up, smoke his defense, right? Yes, I could have shot it here, but he rushes his goalie out, so I play the ball over. Oh, and it just so happens to roll. I literally couldn't have tapped pass any lighter here, guys. Now, you can just take my word for it or not, but you'll see in the next play, too. It just happens on that play to roll wide, and then David Villa with 97 finishing still couldn't get his hips around it. So then, of course, what do you know with this play? What do you notice? A player who is getting their butts kicked with the stats that I'm about to show you, that I showed you at the beginning of the game, but just to remind you, then says, oop, I'm getting whooped. So he throws 5 players across the front and just does through ball, through ball, through ball, through ball, through ball. That's what it is. It's nonsense. And then when you're battling stuff like this, a 2-on-none, again, you'll just have to take my word for it that I registered that shot early because I played this game enough to know how it reacts. And for some reason in these particular games, right, just like the one earlier where the pass just goes too far, right, or in this case where the shot decides to register just a little too late, it always happens in the same way. That's where people get the scripting from. And the thing is, this is the only game where I do believe those people because of these types of things, right? Again, in any other game, you'll have that, it might be a tough game or you might be down 1-0, and that would be a goal. But in games where you're dominating for whatever reason, they want to keep the opponent in it, this is the crap that happens. It literally is the games that I'm dominating in these higher divisions, right? In the lower divisions, if there's a big difference in teams, but in the higher divisions, particularly against teams like this who went and paid money as well, these things always happen. It's not even a hidden thing, right? Any other game, you just barely press X. Okay, guess what? I have through passing, I have one touch, which I know that wasn't a one-touch pass, but Kohler a million times has played that pass when opponents rush out their goalie, and it's just a tap-in goal, right? That's a 99% chance of scoring play that eFootball lets you score when you're playing lower ranked teams, or maybe when you're up a lot, which typically would be like lower level teams, right? But this player who's terrible, right? Who's terrible, but I guess he spent money, so it gives him the nonsense scripting that's in eFootball. You can argue it all you want, but that's why I'm not leaving this game, because I'm going to show you a bunch of times where these went in before, right? I mean, you could watch my streams, or you even know, you guys play the game and know what I'm talking about. Just barely pressing X won't run that far away where all of a sudden it's a missed open net. David Villa wouldn't hit the post there, right? Much less have that pass run away like that. I mean, all of it only happens in certain games, right? But again, these losers recognize how bad they are. I mean, this opponent just gets whooped. I'm playing nonstop football, and there's just no reward, right? They sit back, they AI defend, and then they press triangle. And they waste their time doing this. Not one time trying to go for any type of good football play. And they do this game after game, year after year, and just go for any shortcut. And eFootball caters to them, right? They're not the only game that does this, right? But the fact is that, yes, Konami, I get it in a way because they're greedy. They're a football development company. We've learned. They want money. These losers are going to keep buying players for no reason to suck at a game and stay in games and get shortcuts, right? I mean, look at this. Messi never misses those. I don't care if he has 40 heading. Anybody who's seen Messi's career, not to mention anybody who's seen Messi in eFootball even, he scores those headers 99% of the time. 99 in unmarked header, he scores those in eFootball, but again, against these type of players, right, that doesn't go in, right? If it's against a player that didn't spend any money, that you're dominating, right, and you're actually getting these goals, it's 4-5-0, that goes in every time. That's one of the 4-5-0 goals, right? But whenever you're playing against a player who spent money, but he's just as bad as these players who don't spend money, instead it's a 2-2 game when you see these stats. And not only do you see these stats, but you're seeing all the chances that I got, right? And that was as the game went on. You're going to see at the end the total passes. I mean, that right there, 86-56, it gets ridiculous because all he could do is AI defend and then through ball. And then when you do get the chances, that would be fine if that was all that Konami did to bend over for these losers that play their game that spend money. But that's not all Konami does. They then add this bullcrap scripting where you play a pass that 99% of the time is just a layoff pass and you score an open net. Nope, in this game it runs far. And then David Villa also just can't get his hips around it to do anything but hit the post. Funny. The Kohler shot that decided to register 5 seconds after I pressed the pass button. I was saying shoot. I passed to Gnabry there. I'll show you again right here. Yeah, I'm a newer player, but I've done this enough. I'm not so new that I don't know when to pass this ball. But in this particular play, this touch, and then this happens. Boom. Way too late. I've done it a million times. You guys seen me do it in the first half to David Villa. And guess what? That little dinker pass rolled away. So then I do another dinker pass. Gnabry scores an open net. Game over. Nope. It happens to register 5 seconds too late. Didn't happen the rest of the game. Look. But on the play to get the tap in after I earn a chance to score, and now the pass is going to register 5 seconds too late. Right? Messi scores a million wide open headers. All of a sudden, he's going to miss one from 4 yards. All of a sudden, the last layoff pass I've done 100 times when players rush their goalies out, that's going to run too far, right? But you better believe if this was a non-paying player and it was 5-0, that would have been a goal. And I'll show example after example after example to where the Konami D writers can't say a word about it, right? And I'll show you example after example after example where a player that's top 1,500. Remember this, or sorry, top 1,900, or it could even be top 50,000 or 100,000, but it doesn't matter at what time either. The point is that this shows that he's played this game and got to a pretty high rank and still can't be asked to try to play football. And still gets his ass kicked by a player that's been playing for 1 month, been playing eFootball for 1 month, gets his ass kicked and has to resort to all the ratty nonsense just to get a tie. And he needed, clearly, as you guys see, Konami's help. Even if you took all that away and said, okay, that was me messing up because I'm newer to the game, it's not like he can't see with his eyes how bad he is and how lucky he was not to get beat 6-1 here. And then go, maybe I should actually learn to play football. Otherwise, this is kind of a waste of time. But you don't get that in eFootball. You have all the losers in a bunch. It's the same with UFL. And why is that the case, though? You ask yourself why? Well, it's because the games let them win at something. These type of losers don't win at stuff. Prove me wrong. If you guys were so bad at something, right, you really want to be good at it, what would you do? You would work at it. And as you got better, it would be rewarding. That's how a normal person thinks. That's how a winner thinks. That's how a champion thinks. Right? What does a loser think like? Oh my God, I'm so bad at this. How can I cheat? Oh my God, I'm so bad at this. How can I, Or Like I'm terrible at the guitar, for instance. Let's just say that. Even if I want to learn the guitar, I'm musically challenged. Trust me. So I'm not going to pick up a guitar because I don't want to suck that bad and I don't want to put people through listening to that, right? But if I did want to get really good at it, I'd bust my butt to try to get good at it. And I'd suffer through all the hard times to get better because that's what's rewarding when you get better. I would not be a loser that says, I want to get good at the guitar, so I'm going to go get a track and act like I'm the one playing the guitar, right? Because guess what? I would know I'm not really doing crap. I'm not going to take any shortcuts like that. That's essentially what these type of losers do, right? They're literally racing with fully automated cars when their opponents don't have automated cars. And then they keep doing it. They don't look and go, well, this is pretty sad. Maybe I should go do something else that I'm actually good at, or actually work on getting better at racing with the same thing that everyone else has. But instead, they keep playing this game and they go to this non-football nonsense, right? And that's where Smart Assist makes me mad too, because it's the same thing. Oh, it's for lower players, it's for newer players. Yep, but guess who uses it? These type of losers that have gotten top ranks before, but they suck so bad that, oh, another shortcut, another way that I don't got to work on the game, and I can have decisions made for me. Yes, and Konami knows that, right? You could say, oh, it's for the lower level players and all this crap to appease these losers. But they're losers. That's why I say loser. I'm not just being mean. There's a reason. And this goes for anybody across any walk of life that does anything in life. If you take a shortcut and you're too lazy to work for something and you cheat essentially, or you can't be asked to put in the work to improve, you're a loser. And then you keep doing it. You keep doing the thing you're bad at and keep taking the shortcuts over and over year after year. You are a loser. Period. So, why do I keep playing eFootball? Because the game itself is amazing. You can play amazing football in this game. However, once Konami realized they had a player base full of these type of players, which literally this one game culminates 98% of my opponents, right? And then they realized that these players are the ones who are going to spin and spin and spin, and they started bending over to them, right? That's what made it the crap game it is. That's what makes other players, like FC players, for instance. That's why you hear all the things you hear. How much of a joke game it is. How it looks like FIFA 97. What are they seeing? They're seeing through ball, pressure, pressure, pressure. Right? That's what they're seeing. The good football that can be played isn't showcased enough. And so I'm going to bust my butt to learn that the right way and keep playing like you saw in this, but getting better and better and better to where I can put all these jokers, which is a vast majority of eFootball players, to rest while they go triangle, triangle, triangle. That's my goal, is to destroy that and show why I keep playing eFootball. Because the game itself is amazing. And it's no kudos to Konami, because they could have kept these losers from having success, and they didn't. They'd rather have money, so instead they bent over to them. So yes, it's going to be a battle against these losers and Konami in a way, but until there's a better football experience where you can truly put the work in and actually get good and play some incredible football that's realistic as well, this is the battle I'm fighting. So, I just wanted to explain that. Let me know in the comments what you think. Keep grinding, keep having fun. We'll see you on the next one.